Welcome back, everyone, to Greenplum Summit 2020. This is our very own Reimagined Digital Customer Conference. Again, my name is Jacques Eistock, and our next guest is George Billman from SecuPI. So once you start talking about the public cloud, securing your data is really the next topic that comes up. And George is going to tell us how to do that with SecuPI. George?
Thank you, Jacques. Hey, good day, everyone. How are you doing? SecuPI is really proud to be presenting today in the Greenplum 2020 Summit on our topic, Securing Data in the Cloud with SecuPI. As Jacques mentioned, my name is George Billman. I'm the Executive Director at SecuPI, and I look forward to following up this presentation with your increasing interest in SecuPI because we provide a real competitive differentiator for Greenplum. As to SecuPI's background and credentials, we were founded in 2014, and our name speaks to our mission, secure private information. We have our headquarters in Israel and New York. We're led by security, military, and IT professionals who previously invented dynamic data masking. And SecuPI's initial go-to-market motion focused on helping customers meet the requirements of Europe's GDPR and UK's data privacy laws. From this focus, SecuPI gained a significant amount of traction among telecom, finance, retail, utility, and insurance customers. You can see the logos who are now deployed and operating at scale. And we're now commencing our entry into the United States market. And just for the references, we are addressing the GDP requirements of one of Germany's largest telecom companies and one of Europe's largest retailers. With the focus of my presentation being to explain how SecuPI adds value to Greenplum by securing data in the cloud, we need to start by looking at the baseline of security of capabilities that are already in Greenplum and its cloud services partners. The combined cloud services offering of Greenplum and its partners, AWS, Azure, and Google, does offer a solid level of security so that customers' data is basically protected and kept private within the services. For example, data at rest is kept encrypted on disk. Data in motion is protected inside the wire with the encryption of the pipes, so to speak, like SSL. So all the data flying around within the Greenplum and cloud services platform is secured. However, what remains is to provide protections for how an organization's users are allowed to access and use the data. For its part, Greenplum starts to contribute to this by adding additional security capabilities within its cloud database service, including authentication of users and role-based access control. What's left are some additional potential risk factors and also the potential for technologies such as from SecuPI to deliver finer grain data security that better meets the needs of a modern dynamic organizations. There are compelling factors that motivate customers to seek options to strengthen their data security. Some Greenplum customers may want to explore options for enhanced security, especially those subject to stringent data privacy regulations in finance, healthcare, or government. Also, some businesses just by policy may justifiably want to require stronger security capabilities to protect their business secrets, like the proverbial formula for Coca-Cola. Looking forward though, from all of us, the ongoing rollout of more and more data privacy laws will increasingly drive enterprises to upgrade their data security. Fortunately, SecuPI does offer Greenplum customers a number of options to further strengthen their data security. First, a best practice, of course, is that customer data is anonymized before it's moved to the cloud. But within this, there's a very important issue, which is who actually controls the encryption key used to anonymize or decrypt the data. We'll discuss that in a moment. Second, data access policy can be made finer grained based on the use of attributes as access control variables, such as time, geographic location, or business state. Third, the ability to generate virtual views in real time from user role and attributes values can improve time to data and lower costs of coding those views. And fourth, the capability to head off threats can be strengthened by real-time monitoring and analysis of users' data access activity. SecuPI can address all of these options. Let's highlight some of the, to highlight some of SecuPI's credentials, I'd like to share with you the recent views of Gartner Group. As you can see, Gartner has awarded SecuPI cool vendor status and sees SecuPI as a leader in 3 security markets, with all this accomplished through the single unified platform of SecuPI. Gartner notes SecuPI as a leader for its broadest category of data-centric audit and protection, or it's known as DCAP, which covers a comprehensive range of data-centric security capabilities that include data discovery and classification, data protection, such as format preserving encryption or masking, data access control for applications, and data monitoring and alerting. There's also an important point that Gartner makes in the review of SecuPI. They note that SecuPI integrates the security policy consistently across all the covered data silos and applications. Gartner also notes SecuPI's leadership in 2 additional market segments, dynamic data masking, which our founder actually invented, and user behavior analytics, which can help spot user data access activity in real time that threatens a data breach. So let's take an overview of SecuPI's architecture. Moving left to right on this slide, SecuPI secures data end-to-end from ingestion through data access and consumption by users. SecuPI's architecture places its enforcement points, shown here as little blue shields, at both the point of ingestion and at the point of consumption by users' applications. At the point of ingestion from infrastructures like Kafka or NiFi, SecuPI applies data protection to anonymize the data before it gets to the cloud database. Then, at the point of consumption, SecuPI's enforcement of data access control ensures that users are only able to access their authorized views of data, which can include decrypted data in the clear if the user has those rights. Note that one advantage of the SecuPI architecture is that SecuPI operates at the application layer and therefore is able to manage and monitor the data access of specific users. The brains of the operation, so to speak, are the SecuPI management server at the bottom of the graphic. Here, administrators define policy for data protection and data access control, and the management server continuously synchronizes the policy with the distributed enforcement points. The SecuPI management server also delivers 2 additional capabilities. One is discovery and inventory of structured data, similar to the discovery from a product like DataGuys. And second, real-time monitoring of user data access, equivalent to a data activity monitoring product like Guardium. As I mentioned earlier, Gartner emphasizes that SecuPI integrates security across the full spectrum of IT infrastructure, from data ingestion to data silos to applications. Due to the way SecuPI is architected, it operates between the data layer and the application layer, and as a result, achieves very broad coverage of the enterprise data sources, from traditional on-prem SQL databases to big data repositories, all the way to cloud databases, and also across a wide array of data analytic and business intelligence tools. Another benefit of this architecture stems from the fact that SecuPI does not require changes to either data or application layers, so SecuPI's implementation is easy and quick. Finally, on today's theme of cloud migration, once SecuPI policies are implemented in an on-premises Greenplum database or any other database, the migration to Greenplum in the cloud is facilitated because the SecuPI security policy will migrate along with the data to the new destination in Greenplum, ensuring consistency and continuity of security throughout. This notion extends to SecuPI's broader coverage of enterprise data and applications, ensuring fine-grained data access security, full data protection, and mobility throughout. Now, a noteworthy area that SecuPI enhances Greenplum's security is the addition of capability to use attributes as a way to enable very fine-grained and very scalable generation of authorized data access views. It is true that Greenplum already has role-based access control, or RBAC, but it can be challenging to model data access security for modern enterprises simply through defining multiple roles for users. The problem is modern enterprises are complex, they're matrixed, and they adapt to their changing environments, so that their data security rules can more readily be modeled if you have more dimensions to work with, and we call these attributes, to work with, and that'd be things such as time of day, geographic location, or level of security clearance. SecuPI enables attribute-based access control, or ABAC. ABAC complements role-based access control by enabling access rules to depend on the current value of any data attribute, again, such as time of day, geographic location, etc. Additionally, some customers find it very useful to be able to include values from external tables, such as a no-fly list from airlines or a persons of interest list from an intelligence agency. With SecuPI, access control rules can incorporate attribute variables so that a user's access to data adapts with the changing values of the attributes for the enterprise, enabling real-time conformance to the state of the company. Due to the many benefits of attribute-based access control, Gartner asserts that by the end of 2020, 70% of businesses will use ABAC to protect the privacy of critical data. Clearly, there's market demand for ABAC. So SecuPI has a white paper available titled 5 Reasons Why Role-Based Access Control is Not Enough. If you email the alias greenplum@secupi.com, we'd be happy to give you this white paper. Next, I'm going to address the security issue that we talked about a little bit earlier. It's a little esoteric, but that actually can act today as a blocking issue for customer migration to the cloud. As mentioned earlier, best practice is to anonymize data before it is put into the cloud. Yet an important underlying issue here concerns just who controls the encryption key. SecuPI has innovated a new approach to this issue, so let's go through the slide to explain. On the left side is the traditional approach known as bring your own key, or BYOK. In BYOK, the customer's encryption key is shared with the cloud service provider, and the decryption occurs within the cloud. Under normal circumstances, this can work fine, and users only get to see the data they're supposed to. However, if a rogue actor gets a hold of the encryption key from the service provider, all the data can be decrypted and creates the potential for a significant data breach. This possibility gives security-conscious enterprises a reason to pause their migration to the cloud and to do some more due diligence on the notion of moving their data to the cloud. For industries with stringent data concerns about security in the cloud, this can be a blocking issue. The good news is that SecuPI has created an innovative approach that completely avoids this risk. Under SecuPI's hold your own key approach, or what we call HYOK, H-Y-O-K, the encryption key is kept separate from the cloud infrastructure. The customer's key is kept on its premises, and the decryption also is done on the premises of the customer. This approach removes an important issue for cloud data security and enables customers to move their data to the cloud securely. In fact, an interesting anecdote is from our customer conversations is that SecuPI has seen prospective customers be quoted lower costs on the liability insurance for data breach because of SecuPI's HYOK approach. One further benefit of securing your data with SecuPI's data security platform is that virtual views may be dynamically generated at runtime based on the customer's defined access control rules. SecuPI's virtual views are generated dynamically from the data access control logic that is defined around any combination of the user's role or the current value of attribute variables. Your access control rules can literally contain a variable so that that particular rule would cover any possible value of that attribute variable. And the policy-driven anonymization or decryption data as well would be part of the policy. SecuPI then takes these inputs and generates on the fly and thus reduces time to data, the views. Lead time waiting for user views to be coded by IT is eliminated, and user views instantly adapt to changes in user role or attribute variables. So with SecuPI capabilities to generate virtual views, the agility of the organization is optimized, and the cost of staffing for developing and maintaining views is significantly reduced. Just to wrap up, I'll go through a quick summary of the key elements of the SecuPI value proposition for Greenplum. First of all, with our single platform, we cover a wide array of security capabilities and cover, as Gartner pointed out, a wide range of data and application infrastructure. We give data owners control of access to data, I mentioned the issue around who holds the encryption key. That's an example of the full control that we give. And we let you set the rules for access of that data and around roles and attributes. We provide low cost and agile and efficient compliance. There's no code changes required to applications or the databases. We do track the user behavior so that you can alert to possible breach conditions, and our implementation is fast and efficient. So to wrap up, I'll move to the final slide here. If you want to know more, please email our alias greenplum@secupi.com. You can get the white paper shown here, SecuPI Enhanced Data Security for Greenplum. As I mentioned earlier, you can also get a copy of the 5 reasons why role-based access control is not enough. You'll be able to request access to videos of detailed technical demonstrations of SecuPI on Greenplum, and you'll also be able to request invitations to future joint Greenplum and SecuPI webinars. Thank you much for your attention today. The last slide would give you my email contacts and phone number, a run through of the multiple use cases for SecuPI, and some links to demos and our website. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thanks so much, George. It's so refreshing to hear from a subject matter expert, especially as you go through all of the aspects that SecuPI solves for customers. When I get asked the questions, I can only go an inch. Obviously, you're going quite a bit further than that.